Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna start the next part, the next 60 beachhead maps. So in the previous video we I think this is the right form. We ran 60 white maps. God, my English is bad, but doesn't matter. I hope you get the core message of it. So today we're gonna start farming the yellow beachhead maps. So pretty much the exact same thing that we did with the white beachhead maps. So we are going to run 60 of those. The initial cost is about 35 chaos per white or yellow beachhead maps tier 10. So we talk about 12.35 exalts with today exalt exchange ratio of 1 to 170, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just run all of these maps and check what is the loot like, and then we're gonna compare how much profit did we make, did we actually make some profit, and how was it comparable to the white maps, because these maps are now 10 chaos more expensive, so I expect a little bit more than 10 chaos more profit than on the white ones. If, like, in theory, right, because why would you then run higher tier beachhead maps if the outcome is worse? Like, besides the experience. And this is something I forgot to mention in the last video, because we started this as level 79 trickster, and we are now 89, close to level 90. So while just running tier 5 beachhead maps 60 times, we made almost 11 levels on that one. So the experience was quite crazy, and I hope this like keeps on going like that, because then after all, I think if we finish the yellow, the red, and the infused ones, we're probably like 98 or something if I'm not dying. And this is kind of a build diary as well, not only the beachhead gamble, it's also the progression through the probably most insane Righteous Fire character that has ever lived in Breaklast, I guess. Because with the tools that we have in the Harvest crafting, or in the Harvest League with the crafting and creating perfectly 6 times tier 1 items, I think Righteous Fire might be a super fun character to do. And I explained about the Righteous Fire thing in the last video, so now we're just gonna run the first yellow map together. And since it always takes like 5 minutes to run this map, I just want to make some brief overview on what did I change and what is still on the plan. And I hope, like, I did not die a single time in the tier 5 maps, right? And my gear is pretty much garbage still. I mean, you have a mirror tier belt, mirror tier boots, and then you run around with 2 Kikosaurus, because if you unequip those, you cannot even wear your gear. So, you know, I should actually refill my life before I die instantly on the first pack. So let's activate that again, and I just screwed up this one, and we good again. So, the map itself is the same as the other ones, so we're just gonna randomly run around. It seems like monsters are still dying instant, which is pretty good. The layout is the same. I think everything is the same, just it's a higher level and should bring more experience as well. So, talking about the Righteous Fire God tier trickster that I kind of want to try to create with like perfect items as far as it goes with my currency. And that's why I'm also running those beachhead maps. I need more currency for crafting. This league is crazy. I want to create like maximum AoE. It's not about maximum damage, but yet still this character, as far as my path of building goes, will have about 21 million Shaper DPS with Val Righteous Fire, and about 6 million or 6.5 million Righteous Fire DPS, which is like probably 6 times higher as far as I have ever gotten. Like, my Righteous Fire characters in the past, they actually had about, let's say, 1 million DPS, maybe 1.5, but then it's like super high endgame gear for having 1.5 million Righteous Fire DPS, right? And it seems like in this map, current league with the item spikes that you can get, like 6 million Shaper DPS and Righteous Fire is absolutely disgusting. Like, seriously, it's insane. While still having like 10,000 energy shield, while like I tried to implement max block with glancing blows the same way as I did on the trickster. Then I also want to get hard fire res cap. I am already, so I have 90% hard cap fire resistance to just make the degen from Righteous Fire not that crazy. So I really want to try to bring all kinds of sources of defensive mechanics as well as offensive mechanics into this build. And Val Righteous Fire is touching the end of the screen already. And I'm trying to get, like, currently I have, I think, 238 or 28% increased area of effect on my Righteous Fire with an increased area of effect. So for a single target, you would like to go with Conk effect, for example, right? But I think at some point I might be able to scratch the 300% increased area of effect of Righteous Fire. So we're currently on like 200 something. So there is a lot more AoE to still get, and I think that might be so much fun to have like 6 million Shaper DPS on Righteous Fire while having a Righteous Fire that is almost a screen, which I think in theory sounds insane. So I am already ailment immune, so I fixed that one as well. It's like, I think personally ailment immunity is one of the most quality of life things that you can achieve with a character. So what is ailment immunity? Obviously you're immune to all elemental ailments, which is freeze, which is like chill, for example, ignite, then shock, for example. And not even that, you're actually immune to the ground effects. So, you know, you have those maps when you just like chaos spam your maps or out and go. There is like shocking ground or chilled ground on the floor. With ailment immunity, you're not affected by those ground effects as well. So it's so much quality of life if you're running like it's hard when you have like shocking ground. You just run around, kill the map like you used to, but sometimes you just get a one-shot just because you were standing on the chalk ground. You got like 50% more damage or something. So it's just a little bit of investment to get the ailment immunity going, but it's so much more quality of life. I don't have to run around with a freeze immunity flask anymore. On Cyrus, it's very, very good. Just because his Quadra Beam, for example, right? One is a fire beam that ignites you, one is a cold beam that freezes you, and one is a lightning beam that shocks you, and one is like a physical beam that is like giving you bleed, right? So with ailment immunity, the freezing will not freeze you. The shocking one, the lightning one, will not shock you. So the only thing you have to worry about on Cyrus, when he hits you with the beam, I mean, technically you should always be able to dodge it, I mean, if you want to stay alive. It's just the bleed flask, and the rest you're just immune, and if he hits you once and while mid-air or while you're running, you can just keep on running because you're not gonna get frozen and stuff, right? And I managed to do that with having Shaper boots, like Shaper Crusader boots. That is already the finalized endgame item, so yeah, I'm mixing mirror tier items with Kikasara rings, basically. But I have like a Shaper, I merged, or at least if you take a look at the boots, we have ailment immunity, movement speed, double res, energy shield, and maximum fire resistance. Obviously, it's easier to sustain your Righteous Fire if you have maximum fire resistance, and that's why I'm having the hard cap 90%. And so what I did was just taking Shaper, Crusader boots merged together before, like not Awakener Orb crafter where I say like, hey, I want to merge the, I don't know, max fire resistance with the chance to avoid elemental ailments. In this league, it works different. You would naturally or normally do that with the Awakener Orb, but in this league, it's all about what tiers do you have on that. So, movement speed is speed modifier, max fire resistance is fire, energy shield is defense. So, the only thing, if you take a look at that I cannot roll is the chance to avoid elemental ailments, right? Because this is an elemental modifier, and you cannot, like, remove elemental ailments, for example, on the harvest. So basically, that's why I decided to merge those items with the enchant and stuff, and then I was just like chaos spamming or alt spamming to hit the avoid elemental ailments and the movement speed tier 1, because I knew if I just augment fire and remove add fire, I can easily get the maximum fire resistance, right? And rerolling speed modifiers is just way more expensive than rerolling fire modifiers, right? And that is the reason why I decided firsthand to just mix the base together and roll the movement speed together with the ailment immunity to just make the overall cost of the boots way less. And I'm not sure how much I spent currency-wise, maybe like 15 or 20 exalts to get this 6 times tier 1 perfectly divined boots. And this is basically the first step of getting the ailment immunity, so we have 35% already. Then I crafted 25% on my gloves and 25% on my helmet. So we're basically on like 85% ailment immunity, and in the end I anointed my amulet with the crystal skin. And the crystal skin basically gives you 15% ailment immunity, so exactly the 15% that I'm missing to get the 100% ailment immune, together with one maximum all resistance. And this is basically great because this is one extra maximum resistance to cap my fire resistance on the hard cap at 90%, right? So that's actually the first changes that I've made with the boots. The belt itself is pretty much straightforward. It's just like the best energy shield belt you can get now with like tier 1 flat ES, percent ES, and on the suffix recovery rate. And there is a small trick. I bought the belts, I merged it together with Crusader and Warlord, and the main idea was to get this triple tier 1 energy shield while still having the reduced damage from crits and the what's it called, resistance, right? And the easiest way to do that is not to remove at energy shield all the time, it's just buying dense fossils. The only problem with that is like dense fossils will be more likely to roll defense modifiers, and guess what, energy shield is a defense modifier. The only problem with that is armor, or armor basically, is also a defense modifier. So it will happen very often that you're gonna roll like double tier 1 as energy shield and having that armor roll on it. And the problem is you cannot do like, yeah, remove armor roll or remove defense, because every time you would remove or remove add defense, you have the chance of ruining your energy shield rolls and you will keep the armor roll, right? It was kind of nasty. I definitely spent about 20 exalts just in dense fossils to hit the double tier 1 prefix. I'm not talking about the recovery yet, because this is something you can force later on. So, I was saying, so I was like spamming those dense fossils, trying to get this double tier 1 prefix. I did hit double tier 1 with armor roll, I think like 3 or 4 times, no wait, it was more. It was like 6 times more likely. And all you have to do then is basically, I know I'm done with the map, I'm just checking because I think I didn't have my loot filter on, or at least like not showing. I annulled off the energy shield instead of the armor, and it was like pissing me off so hard. And after like a couple of tries, I finally could manage to hit double tier 1 energy shield, and it had like 2 resistance or something, so I could remove that with like remove fire, remove cold. But I think the map is pretty much clear. So let's go back here to finish this off. And the thing is, the energy shield, if you have defense, armor is a prefix, right? So the only suffix that can roll as a defense modifier is energy shield recovery rate. That means if you're doing like the 2 heads, the 5 head strat, not the 2 head, the 5 head strat, and you're just rolling the double ES on your belt as a prefix like I have here, and then you craft a life or something just to block the prefix, and then you augment defense, you will hit the energy shield recovery rate. And this is like an easy way to get this triple energy shield rolling, right? So only worry about prefix, block the 3rd prefix, and then augment the last suffix basically with augment defense. The only problem is, what if you don't hit tier 1? This is something I'm not entirely sure if you could like just prefix cannot be changed, scour off, craft life, augment again, because you don't want to go remove add life, because it could technically ruin your double tier 1 prefix on the energy shield. I'm always doing the safe way. I'm buying from the TFT guys. Remove energy shield and add energy shield. But make sure if you have that you lock your prefix, because if you do remove energy shield and you don't have prefixes cannot be changed, then you can actually ruin your prefixes as well. And the helm, to quickly finish it off, just dense fossil spammed. I was lucky to hit triple tier 1 energy shield on my helmet. And then I was like augment chaos, augment fire, warlord base for the -9, and then craft the element immunity. So those are the only 3 items that I added yet. It was probably like 50 to 100 exalts, and I'm still running around with the Kikusaru rings. But hey, this is a map gamble plus a build progress, so probably on the next map, or at least when I'm starting the red tier maps, we have maybe more improvements. But yet still there is like so many more things to add to this build. But it's like, you know, farming currency, and every time you have currency, you just pick one of your items and just upgrade them until they are like as good as possible, or OCD extreme wise, 6 times tier 1 perfectly divined. Good. We found a couple of, we almost got 1 full ancient shard, or at least ancient orb here, some annulment shards, fusing chaos, 3 maps only, and then we have 1/3 piece of brutality. I think that's the staff should be. So we're just gonna pop this over here, and that's it. First map done. We got some pretty nice experience. So I would say I'm just going to like chill here now, listen to some music, some Netflix on this screen, some other things on the other screen, run the 60 maps, or 59 now, and we're gonna see us again in a little bit, and then we can talk about the final outcome, and is the yellow Beachheads actually more profitable than the white ones. Alright guys, welcome back, or at least for you it was like one transition for me, it was like almost a day, because yesterday we started the yellow tier beachhead maps, and today I finished it off. So I ran like 30 or 40 yesterday, and today on stream I finished it off, and we're done with the beachhead maps, at least with the yellow part. It's part 2 done out of 4 basically, right? Let's take a look on what we got. We got like a bunch of like pretty much the same pattern as we got in the white maps, which is a bunch of annulments, a bunch of ancient orbs, exalted orbs. I actually got my first divine orb, still 0 on the mirror shards. I think the mirror shard is kind of a legacy. And based on what I explained last video with the white beachhead maps, we only found the rippling thoughts, the weapon, and the flow untethered or untethered or whatever, the belt, right? With the medium, or at least with the yellow tier beachhead maps, we were now able to get the quiver and the staff on top of it. And I don't know if this is weighted, that you say like, okay, it's a yellow tier map, you're now eligible of dropping staff pieces and the quiver pieces, and because we had found a lot less of these, right? On the other hand, we couldn't find any other sources, but just based on like 6 times and 4 times versus 3 and 2, might be that on the yellow tier, it's a little bit higher weighted. But on the other hand, I have like 5 swords in preparation. I have like 4 quivers, 2 belts, and 2 staffs in preparation. These are like the leftover pieces that I could not put together. So basically, I would assume now after running the second 60 beachhead maps that the higher the beachhead, the more items are into the pool, but it's more likely to drop those. But we're gonna see on the red tier maps what else we can get, because there is still missing, I think the helm is missing and the shield is missing, and I think that's it then. So you have the staff, the quiver, the weapon, the belt, the mask, and basically the shield. I think those are the 6 items, or is it more? I don't know. And I'm not even sure what about the infused beachheads, because nobody ran them before, at least like before that leak. So I have absolutely no idea what's going to pop in there. Rest of that, pretty much as I said or explained, I was putting only 2 watchstones in my regions, in the first top 4 regions, so I'm actually able to drop certain maps. And we got like a couple, like 100 or so maps on top of that. Some tier 4 maps for some reason. I think there was like complete random drop that I get those. But usually tier 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and even some tier 12 maps that are basically dropped from the boss itself, because +2 levels. And then basically 3 gems that had more than 50% quality, a couple of the Endless Darkness cards, and a Primordial Eminence. And that's basically it. That's the full drop of 60 yellow tier maps. So let's take a look at the write down. So we basically made about 2,642 chaos just from the splinters, and this is the same loot filter. I'm not gonna change this. I'm not gonna add now 6 sockets to my loot filter, just because it would fake the overall currency income. Obviously, the more you pick up, the more currency you're gonna get. It's pretty simple tactic or strategy, but just to make it fair, I'm not gonna add the 6 sockets either on the next projects, right? So we have 2,600 chaos just from the splinters in this currency tab. I had 1 flat exalted orb drop, and the rest of the 3 is just coming from the exalted charts. Then we have fragments-wise the finished pieces basically over here, and here the leftover pieces. Which is about close to 1,000 chaos orb on this one. Maps, obviously, same time around on this part. I did not price check every single type of tier 3 map or tier 8 map or different tier 11 maps. I just said like every low tier map is a chaos, every yellow tier is 2 chaos, every high tier is 3 chaos, and then we have like 5 unique maps. They are separately priced. I know there is tier 12 maps that are selling for like 6 chaos, but there is also tier 12 maps that sell for like 1 chaos because they're so overfarmed that nobody needs them. Like, I don't know, any weird map layout. So I just say like, you know what, let's just take 3 chaos for every high tier map we got, and we should be fine. So that makes a total amount of 4,038 chaos made out of the 60 beachhead maps. So if you would just like take the currency gain minus the total spending, we would get 1,938 chaos profit on the yellow beachhead maps. And here is a little bit different now. So when we started this project yesterday, we had like the Exalt exchange ratio of 170. Today, the Exalt is like 155, so that's like a straight drop on that part as well, right? So to be fair, I would actually, if I now sell it, but I think this one is fine because this is how much I spent for it. If the Exalt is getting like less worth over time, then yeah, I mean, that's just lowering my profit, because in the currency tab, I did calculate the Exalted Orb with the actual 155 that I could sell it right now, right? But I still made the investment back when the Exalted Orb was 170. So just keep that in mind. But for the profit that we can calculate now, we're still gonna take the new one. So this is the Chaos divided by 155. So exactly 12.5 Exalts, Exalted Orb, we get about 32 Chaos profit per Beachhead map. And basically at 12.5 Exalts, that's pure profit minus the, or at least like already excluded the initial cost, right? And now we can actually take a look at the comparison. So we ran the 60 white maps, and now we ran the 60 yellow maps. And if we take a look on how these are compared, basically, here we have profit of 13.5 Exalts. Here we have a profit of 12.5 Exalts, so a little bit less. Based on the currency drops, we had a little bit more, like 200 chaos higher on the currency drops. We had like 100 chaos less on the fragments. Maps, obviously a little bit higher because we're now dropping yellow and red tier maps, not only white tier maps. The cells, the things that dropped is pretty much the same. So basically the only difference was basically here is the old Exalted Orb price. So if I would do this again today, we would have 15 Exalts profit, right? So it's always a little bit juggling around with what is the Exalt price today, what is it tomorrow, when you should sell, what not. But what is more important, what about Ancient Orbs? Because this is how we get the most currency, right? Annulment, Exalted, and the Ancient Orbs comparison, right? So on the yellow tier, on the white tier maps, we had Exalted Orbs 3. On the yellow tier, we have 4. Over here, both on yellow and white, I had one flat Exalt drop, the rest from shards, so this is pretty much accurate. We found 42 Ancient Orbs compared to 46, and we have Annulment, we have, where do we have them? 27 to 26. So I would say it's just pure RNG. I mean, I had like 3 or 4 Ancient Orbs more on the yellow tier map, but it's just like RNG, I would say. Oh, wait, on these 60 maps, you just had a little bit more luck with your splinters, basically, or on the white map, you were just a little bit unlucky. So based on that, I cannot see any kind of difference. The only thing is, okay, I can sell my maps a little bit more, but the initial cost is also 10 chaos more per map. But still, we were able to get 12.5 Exalts profit, and the experience gain is quite nice, because we started on level 79, right? Then we ran 60 white maps, we were on 89. Now we were running 60 white maps, and I'm close to 94. So just experience-wise, these maps are kind of insane. And basically, that now we are turning into the third project, or at least the third part of the project, which is we're going to do this again with 60 red Beachhead maps. We're going to see how much currency we get there, how much is the initial cost. Pretty much the same as we did on the past 2 videos, just now with the red tier maps. And then to make it complete, we're going to run the 60 infused Beachheads on top of that. And then we can compare and see what are the actual drops. Is any like tier better than the other, or you have to decide like, hey, I want to farm currency, I should probably run white tier maps. Hey, I need experience, I should do red tier maps, and so on. All right, guys, I'm going to change a little bit now on the character so I have more footage or can talk about more about the RF progression. And then we're going to start with the red tier maps. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.